Jim Dodge is sitting and conversing with the dogs he is temporarily in charge of at the zoo. While Jim is telling the dogs that he knows that the murder in Saltburg is the work of the mob in the Midwest, we are shown a graphic murder scene in Saltburg. Additionally, he uses his jet that night to appear to be going on a date with a foreigner. He gets abruptly let go for being slack. Then there are other moments when Jim converses with town children and a waitress, who both suggest he is acting as a significant inventor. Then Jim approaches the proprietor of a gas station and asks for a job. But the owner of the station believes Jim is a liar and says the rest of the community agrees. Josie McClelland arrives in her pricey vehicle and stops for petrol. Due to his recent firing, Jim's father confronts him and drags him home. Jim's entire family humiliates him at home for the countless terminations he endured. Additionally, they talk about Josie McClelland leaving her father behind and traveling to New York. Jim's father arranges for him to travel to a Target store for an interview, but warns him that if he doesn't get the job, he will visit his uncle's store in St. Louis. Mr. Dodge wants Jim to leave in either case. Then, after she plays a small teasing trick on two businessmen he is speaking to by kissing one and shaking the other's hand, we get a glimpse of Mr. McClelland's connection with his daughter. Later, he threatens to beat the living tar out of her. When Jim talks to the manager of the Target store, the manager is persuaded by Jim's charisma to give him a considerably higher offer than he had anticipated. Jim declines the offer and raises it by a few $1,000s before shaking hands with the manager. The manager is then phoned and informed that the candidate he believed he was interviewing for the position of operations manager was unable to attend. Jim then receives the job he came in for, night cleanup boy, from the manager at a significantly lower pay. On Jim's first day of work, he gets a limo, and by coincidence, Josie enters the Target store and starts shoplifting in full face of everyone. When Jim enters the store, he briefly poses as the owner and orders a worker to replace a tiling. Later, Jim runs into his boss, who treats him poorly both verbally and physically, before telling Jim he won't be at the store overnight and locking him in. Jim switches on all the lights and has a fantastic time while enjoying every item in the store once the door is locked and his supervisor departs. Jim then encounters Josie and suffers a little mishap. She confesses that she fell asleep at the store and was kept inside because she intended to get caught shoplifting, get arrested, humiliate her father, and flee the house. They consume food from the store and locate a small area to sit and unwind inside. She accidentally tells him during their conversation that he is regarded as the town liar in the community. She bemoans the fact that her life would never get better as he tells candid and depressing tales from high school. He claims to enjoy living at home at one point, and she tells him he is deluding himself. He finally realizes that he actually does not enjoy staying at home thanks to her. She invites him to flee the house with her. She suggests switching her intended trip to Los Angeles. Additionally, it maintains the talent these two possess, which guides these two to the conclusion of the film. He surprises her by deciding to continue a dance he started with her in 7th grade when she wonders how she might atone for being so unkind to him in high school. She informs him that she fully anticipated his need for sex and was prepared to go to any lengths. To warn her to slow down, he says first things first as he attempts to process these occurrences. When he eventually works up the courage to try a kiss, she slow dances with him and moves her lips to meet his for a soft, long-lasting kiss. When a cop approaches the store's exterior, they look to be moving forward in a tent. The officer informs Jim that he and Josie's father are both looking for Josie McClelland and that he is the only police officer in the community. Jim and Josie navigate the store on roller skates. The two crooks who murdered someone in Saltburg halt their enjoyment. Jim and Josie try to hide, but the two criminals find them. When it appears like one of the robbers may kill Josie, Jim intervenes by acting as though he is speaking to people outside who are pointing weapons at the two robbers. They lay down on the ground and give up their weapons because he is so convincing as an imposter. Jim gives the thieves their loaded firearms back despite their lies that the weapons weren't loaded. Then Josie tells Jim that she's going to help her steal the thieves' car, which they earlier took from someone else, and asks Jim to join her. Josie flirts with one of the thieves because she is adept at feigning, much like Jim. She gradually manages to hypnotize the one thief with her pretended interest, and then, as they are shooting at her, she dashes off in their car. Jim grabs the store shotgun that was locked in the cabinet as soon as he hears the car leave, and while acting afraid, he uses the store announcement microphone to direct the thieves to where he wants them to go. The thieves fall for his bait and end up just centimeters from his shotgun's barrier as he blasts their hearing. Josie gleefully arrives with her luggage packed and the stolen automobile since she knows Jim could easily apprehend these criminals. The thieves are tied up with their wanted posters attached when the policeman enters the store in the morning, probably in response to a tip. After one final limo tour of the neighborhood, Jim and Josie travel to Hollywood, California, to practice their acting and pretending skills. The final scene features Jim and Josie relaxing by a pool and admiring the Hollywood sign, which Jim mispronounces as Jimwood, as Josie chuckles.